Hey everyone, so I know it's been a while. I know I promised y'all what's on my iPad video and everything, but I've had a lot going on. Do apologize for the delay in videos. I promise I will try to keep it up a little bit more. But to be honest, yeah, we're all in quarantine, but I have a full-time job. I do work. I am still working from home. So it kind of cuts into all my video filming activities, and I don't think my bosses would be too keen on the idea of me filming YouTube videos when I'm supposed to be working. So here we are on a weekend that I'm off. I'm finally filming videos. And I actually do look better, a little bit better than I did in my last video. My hair looked dried and fried, and I kind of did a little something to it this time so I wouldn't, look like a hot mess on camera. But today we're gonna talk about my iPad. I've had it now for about a month. I like it. I like having it. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about what I'm using it for. So I'm using it for work related stuff, obviously. I did get the 12.9 inch 2020 iPad Pro. So this thing is a beast. It is huge. And I got the OtterBox Symmetry case. Now, well, let's talk about the things I like about the iPad itself. I like the portability of it. I like the fact that I could get other accessories for it and turn it into a laptop, essentially. The only thing that I would probably say that I don't like about it is the keyboard that you use. Like if you're texting or typing something, it's just weird, and I don't want to spend like hundreds of dollars on a Magic Keyboard or anything like that. That seems to be excessive for me. The Symmetry case, this part is a little flimsy. It folds just fine, but if you don't fold it the right way, it collapses on itself like that. And I've had it crash, so to speak, like collapse on itself a lot. And our young cat has already clawed up the case, which I'm very mad about. I'm still waiting on my screen protectors that I ordered maybe a day after I ordered my iPad. They haven't gotten here yet, and I've gotten nothing but excuses from the company. And y'all know this company, not gonna say their name, but put it this way, they like to buy reviews on YouTube a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, getting into the actual iPad itself. There was a person on YouTube asking about the case and if it folds well. And let me see if I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly. Swetha Yala Manchili. She was asking about the case. Again, I like the case. It's very heavy duty. And but I still don't feel safe to like just drop my iPad, but it makes the iPad much heavier than it probably would be otherwise. But it's cheaper than the same case that Apple offers, so I'd probably get this over the Apple one. So right now, let's do a deep dive into what's on my iPad. Okay, so as far as what's on my iPad, as you can see up here, you're gonna see like all of these general apps up here. You're gonna have messages, which I don't really use on this iPad at all. Contacts, again, it's a Wi-Fi enabled only iPad, so whatever. Calendar, camera, photos, FaceTime, clock, that sort of thing. Maps, which again, I don't really use because it's a Wi-Fi only iPad, so what am I using the maps for on there? I'm not using turn by turn and, instructions or anything like that. Find My, device, App Store, iTunes Store, Books, which I don't use that either, and I'll explain later why I don't. Podcasts. Now, I do use the podcast a lot because I listen to a lot of podcasts. Apple TV. Well, anyone who bought a new MacBook or iPad this year knows that they're getting Apple TV Plus for free for a year. So I've been kind of perusing that lately. Settings, YouTube, obviously. YouTube Studio, well, obviously, to keep up with analytics for, you know, my my subscriber count, which I'm proud of my little few subscribers I do have. Thank you so much for subscribing to me, by the way. Procreate. Now, here's the thing with Procreate. I've been using Procreate a lot. This is the one app that I was really excited to get when I got my iPad. I haven't been doing a lot. I've been kind of playing around with different brushes and just writing, like doing lettering and writing different things. Like, as you can see, I want to do a creative knuck a few buck. That's just how I am. I've also been doing stuff for my husband's channel and doing different, like trying to do little PNG stuff so that he can like overlay it into his videos. Mainly I'm using Procreate a lot for doing creative stuff like hand lettering little like titles and stuff on my videos. And I'm hoping to be able to do that for other people's videos if they want me to do it for them. But yeah, lots of really terrible lettering, terrible drawing. I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but I try. I do try. Next, we have Adobe Fresco, which is a lot like Procreate, but it's the Adobe version. And I've just been playing around in that one. I do like to use a little watercolor brush in there. It's really cool. It does mimic like the actions of real watercolor, and I have a lot of watercolors, and it's really hard. Anyone who's ever done watercolor will tell you that it's really hard to control if you don't know what you're doing. So it's really fun to play around with that brush. GoodNotes for doing little tasks and taking notes and stuff like that, especially if I'm in listening to a webinar and I'm trying to get, you know, ideas and inspiration for a future library program, whatever, for work. So I have the GoodNotes app to do that, you know, to go paperless, even though I still bullet journal. Next up, we have the Post-its app, which I don't really use, but I got it just in case I need it. I don't know why. Google Apps, which I don't know why I have these. Again, I don't travel with this. Well, right now, no one's traveling, but even if I did, it's like, why do I need Street View, Google Earth, and Google Maps on a Wi-Fi enabled iPad? I don't know. Right here, we have work apps for obvious reasons. We've got Outlook, Google Calendar, Microsoft Teams, Zoom for when we have our branch-wide meetings, Wakeout, which I haven't really been playing around with this. I think it's like a work from home, sitting at your desk kind of workout thing, I think, but I think you have to pay for it, so I don't know. And then of course, Notability. Now, here's the weird thing. So I already get my work email pushed to me through the Mail app, but I also download the Outlook app. It's the same thing on my iPhone. I also already have my work email pushed to the email app, and then I have the Outlook app as well. And you know, you may ask yourself, well, Kim, why do you need different apps for one work email? Well, my answer to that is I enjoy having multiple avenues through which to ignore my work emails. So next, you will see, now this is a little OCD, I will admit. I have to have my apps separated by group. Now I know some people just like, they like to have their home screen just look crazy and everything. I'm not one of those people. It has to be separated, otherwise I'm sitting there searching and going, well, where's the app for this? Where's the app for that? They have to be grouped properly. I can't exist otherwise. So first we have social networking. Obviously, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, the Instagram Boomerang app, Skype, Google Hangouts, Pinterest, and TikTok. All right, now, let me just say this. I absolutely hate the Instagram app on the iPad. And this is why. It looks weird. Like, it looks like they just took, I guess, the settings for how it's gonna look on like an iPhone and said, okay, we'll just scale it up for the iPad. It's not full screen. It's not very well integrated, it looks like, with the iPad itself. So I don't really use the Instagram app for my iPad very often. And here we go, TikTok. Okay, so I am one of those older millennials that downloaded TikTok out of boredom. I only did one TikTok video Yeah. I don't intend on doing it anymore, but it is interesting to look at all the older millennials and even some Gen Xers and boomers on TikTok. And they're funny. They're hilarious. But I'm sure we are angering the Gen Zers because we have invaded their sacred space. Next, we have movies and TV. Now, obviously, if I'm gonna have an iPad, I might as well look at movies and TV on here. So first up, we have the Fios TV app. That's our cable and internet. And then a whole lot of streaming services. Now, here's the thing. In my household, my husband and I divide things very equally. And so when it comes to our streaming services, I pay for some, he pays for the other. So I pay our cable and internet. And I also pay our Netflix, the HBO, and the Stars. And then he pays Hulu, Disney Plus, and Shudder. And then we both share the responsibility of our household Amazon Prime account. And TLC Go is not a paid one. It's just something that I downloaded because I got hooked on a couple of TLC shows, and you hook your cable subscription to it and you get to watch these episodes for free. PBS. Now here's a very interesting thing about PBS. If you donate a minimum of $5 to PBS every month, you get access to all of their streaming catalogs. So by all means, donate to PBS because they need the money. It's good to donate to them, and it's a tax write-off depending on how much you donate. But it's just so cool that $5, it's cheaper than Netflix and every other service out there, and you get all these cool like PBS shows. Some of my favorites are I'll Have What Phil's Having, which actually this show is a different iteration on Netflix because I guess PBS stopped paying for him. So on Netflix, this show is now called Somebody Feed Phil, and it's a really cute little travel foodie show. My husband and I both love that. Obviously, Downton Abbey is one of my favorites, and well, any of the Masterpiece Classic and Masterpiece Mystery shows, I just love. Oh, it's a show with Benedict Cumberbatch. Or a movie, whatever. Julia Child, lots of Julia Child stuff on here. Shakespeare stuff. I just love PBS. I've loved it since I was a child. So by all means, go on the PBS app, sign up for $5 a month. You get all that streaming stuff. Next, we have music. Now, I say music in quotation marks because right now I'm only using Spotify for podcasts because one of the podcasts I listened to, last podcast on the left, they went over to Spotify and left Apple Podcasts completely. So I re-downloaded the Spotify app just so I could listen to their show. Then there's Pandora. I use Pandora mainly around Christmas because I love their Christmas channels. Really fun little Christmassy vibe there. And then SoundCloud. I don't really use SoundCloud anymore. I do use it for, occasionally I use it for looking for songs for YouTube videos, but since I've been using Thematic lately, I try to stay away from SoundCloud because I don't want to get dinged by copyright later in the event that song is copyrighted. Photo and video. Obviously what this is. First up, we have Photoshop and Lightroom. Now, again, if these are Adobe products, and I do pay for the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite every month, that pound of flesh to them. I'm not very good at Photoshop on the iPad. I'm very good at Photoshop on my computer, but not as good as it on the iPad. It's a little different. It's like it's a little weird. I'm a little confused by some of the things on here, and I'm not really sure. I have to look at some tutorials or something. I can't talk. I'm gonna have to study and just work with it and figure it out. But I do love Lightroom, and here I'm trying to redo my YouTube channel art. But I absolutely love the Lightroom app on here. It is awesome sauce. It is just so fun, and I've been playing around with it a lot. Then we have PicsArt, Fonto, Visco. I'm a little too old for Visco. Canva, and then Canva Stories. Now, I've been using PicsArt and Fonto, and then also Canva to use, I use those to work on my thumbnails. And PicsArt and Fonto are the two that I really like. And then, of course, I also use Lightroom for those as well. Next up, we have education. Now, you're going to ask yourself, education? But Kim, you graduated college like a million years ago. Yes, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter how old you are. You should always be educating yourself. Okay? That was my TED Talk. All right, so first up, we have Skillshare. Skillshare, for anyone who doesn't know what Skillshare is, not sponsored, but they are an online learning platform where you can learn different things such as painting, video editing, photo editing, crafting, journaling, anything, everything you can think of, at least creative wise. And I go on here all the time taking classes on video editing. Right now I'm trying to learn how to do Final Cut Pro. Even though I have Adobe products and I edit primarily on Adobe Premiere Pro, I'm trying to learn Final Cut Pro just to have that extra skill in my back pocket. You know, you never know when you might need it. Next up, we have Wikipedia. Don't at me. I know. Wikipedia is not the most reliable source for information. However, they are good to go to them for a few little basic facts. You never know. I haven't come across too much incorrect information on Wikipedia. Usually I go to them for like movie information or like history stuff, like brief like dates and stuff like that. Not that big of a deal. Then finally we have Google Translate and Duolingo because I'm trying to relearn Italian. I took Italian for about a year or so in college, and I was better at it than Spanish, even though I had been taking Spanish my whole life. All throughout like middle school and high school. I took Spanish and I could not speak a lick of it. I still can't. I suck at it. I'm much better at Italian, even though I still have a lot to relearn with that. And a little fun story, like when I was in college, I was at the store and I heard a guy on his cell phone talking in Italian, and I totally was like, oh my God, he's speaking Italian. So being the weirdo that I am, I run up to him and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're speaking Italian, And I very brokenly start conversing with him, and he's just like, oh, you speak Italian too. So we're like, he's an older man and we're just like kind of gabbing with each other. And here comes this total jerk and they're like, you're in America, speak English. And we look at each other, the Italian guy and I look at each other, and I look back at the person, and then I swear at them in a very foul Italian swear word. And the person, of course, doesn't understand what I'm saying. They walk off, but the Italian guy is just like, you're all right. And he kind of gives me a little kiss on the cheek and he walks off, and I walked away like, That's my little fun story about Italian in college. So next, we have books. Now, earlier I was talking about how I don't use the Apple Books app. Well, this is why I don't, because I have the Nook app and the Kindle apps on here. Now, I've had a Nook for several years now. I actually have two Nooks, an older one and then a newer one. So I have a whole lot of Nook books that I bought through Barnes & Noble. So they're not really compatible with the Apple Books app, I don't believe. So I don't bother with it. I just use the Nook app on here. And then I have the Audible app. I've been using Audible for many, many years. So I have a lot of audiobooks. And I love listening to audiobooks when I'm driving to work or when I'm cleaning or, something when I want to have something on in the background, but I'm not able to watch a movie or something. I just want to have like a story playing in the background where I can do whatever I'm doing and still be entertained. And then we have Hoopla and Overdrive apps. Now, these are library-based apps. Overdrive is for ebooks and audiobooks, and I think some graphic novels. And Hoopla is like Netflix for libraries. You can watch movies and TV shows and listen to the audio CDs and audiobooks on here. And if your library participates in Hoopla and Overdrive, you can use your library card and sign up for the services and then access the database from there. Finally, we have shopping apps. And here's the thing, I don't use these. I don't know why I have this folder at all, because I don't use any shopping apps on the iPad. I don't know why. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it. And why do I have this Fresh Market app? What? Okay, delete. I don't know why I have this Fresh Market app up here. Apple Store app. Well, if you're gonna have a shopping app, you might as well have the Apple Store app. And I do like the fact that their app is much prettier and well done, much more well done than the Instagram one. It would be really sucky if the Apple Store app is not well done on the iPad. That would be kind of awkward and a little embarrassing. But bug, ew. A bug just flew in my face. But I think I'm just gonna delete this whole folder at some point because I don't use my iPad to shop with. Next up, we have the finance folder. Anyone who has an iPad knows that for whatever weird reason, they do not put a calculator on the iPad. You have to download a calculator app separately. I don't know why, it's weird because they have a calculator app on the iPhone. They have a calculator app on the MacBook Pro, but not on the iPad. Get it together, Apple. And then of course my bank app and my PayPal apps, because this is only so I can be reminded on a constant daily basis just how poor I am. Next up, we have the cooking apps. Now, my husband and I both love to cook. We are huge foodies. So I like to look at the recipes on here, and I do like how some of the cooking apps I've downloaded so far are very well suited for the iPad. Now, first of all, America's I can't even talk today. America's Test Kitchen and Cooks Illustrated, we are subscribers to that. We do pay I think it's $50 a year to access all their recipes and all their videos. And this app I love it. I do need to make this recipe at some point. This pan-seared cod. Pan-seared cod with herb butter sauce. My God, girl, learn to talk. Deep dish pizza. We made deep dish pizza recently, but we did not use this recipe for some weird reason. I don't know why. But yeah, get some cooking apps. The Tasty app. I was very well impressed how good the Tasty app looks on the iPad. For those of you who don't know what Tasty is, it's BuzzFeed. Don't at me, I know. Next, we have health apps, because I'm trying to get healthy-ish, I guess. So we have MyFitnessPal. I've been using that for years because I do try to calorie count. I might fail at it a few times, but I do try. Mealtime, which is meal planning, and then Center, which is Chris Hemsworth's little fitness app. Hi, Daddy. How you doing? Anyways, I'm not paying for this because this is expensive. At first, when quarantine first started, I think they were offering a free month or whatever. And now it's oh, no, you get 7 days for free. And then it's $40 a month or something like that. No, ma'am, I'm not. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care how hot Chris Hemsworth is. I don't care how stacked he is. Look at me, you can be like this. No, I don't care. I'm not paying you that kind of money. I might as well get a gym membership. Oh wait, we're in quarantine. No gyms. Damn. Anyways, next up, my games folder. Now, I resisted for about 2 weeks after I got my iPad. I kept resisting on downloading any games because I knew that if they looked great on the iPad, I would get no work done. And now that I've downloaded these games, that's exactly what happened. First up, we have my favorite time waster is Sudoku. It's got volume. Stop, shut up. I love Sudoku. Whenever I need to wake my brain up, I go play on Sudoku for, about 20 minutes or so. And I try to challenge myself to see how fast I can finish a puzzle. Right now, I think my record is 3.5 minutes. That can finish an entire Sudoku puzzle on easy. Only on easy though. Then we have Pocket God. I love Pocket God. I've been playing it for years. Then we have Fruit Ninja. Now this, oh gosh, I need to go ahead and sign out of this. No. Kim, you're not playing on this. I am addicted to Fruit Ninja, and this was the last game I downloaded on the iPad. And the reason why that I waited so long to download it is because I knew that if it turned out to be really nice looking on the iPad, I would play it constantly, and that's exactly what happened. When I downloaded it just to test it out, I was playing it, and next thing I know, a half hour had gone by. 13 minutes straight playing Fruit Ninja. That is how addicted I am to that game. So I was like, nuh-uh. I might actually delete it off my iPad. Maybe, I'm not really sure. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Next up, we have Avo. Now, Avo is a cute little game that really utilizes your augmented reality in your iPad. The downside to the game is that I got into it the first couple of episodes, and then afterwards, I found out that you had to pay per episode. So it's a freemium game, essentially. It's part live action, part animated with the little avocado that's anthropomorphic. I was like, oh, this is so cute. I really liked it. I want to know what's happening in the next episode. And then I was like, 99 cents per episode? I don't think so. If you haven't noticed, despite the fact that I spent, more than a G on an iPad, I'm also very cheap. So there's that. Then we have Games for Cats, which I downloaded this so that my husband and I could play with our cats and see if they would chase around the little fishies on the thing. Yeah, no, they had no interest in this. I had it in front of them. I was like, no, see, Anderson, put your little paw in there. No, he didn't care. So I actually might delete this because it's a big waste of time and space on my iPad. Next up, we have all the Apple apps. I don't use any of these. I keep them up here mainly for, I don't know. They're just here. I grouped them all together in one single folder, and I ignore them, basically. Finally, we have the Reflect app, which this is like a day-to-day journaling app. I haven't really had a lot of time to play with it, but eventually I do want to play around with it and use it. So I still bullet journal. I still have my analog paper bound journals. So I don't see myself doing a lot of journaling on this iPad, but for right now, I think this app is probably the best for me. Unless someone says there's a better app out there, let me know. As for my background for my my iPad, let's see. It is a picture from mine and my husband's wedding day. Don't we look so cute? Oh, and down here in the dock, I have the Apple Mail app, Safari, and of course, iTunes / Apple Music, whatever you want to call it. I haven't really been using this iPad to do any music playing on much, but we'll see. But for right now, that is all. That is everything on my iPad. Again, like I said, I've really enjoyed having it. I love the creative. I love being able to do the creative stuff on my iPad. I've noticed that my hand lettering is better on the iPad than it is in real life. So that's about it. If you have any comments, questions, leave them down in the comment section, where people tend to do that. Like this video, thumbs up it, because that does help me out. If you like me, if you like my personality, subscribe. By all means, subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. Are you going anywhere? Nah. Anyways, I'm Kim. See you next time. Bye.